What is this? What is this fucking can? What's in here? What? What's in here? You, come on, you gotta know. What is that? Dog. I genuinely can't fucking tell what that is. What is that? Fucking. The textures are so low quality. And that makes sense. Because it's just little objects. And it's just really fucking funny to me, and it always has been. Like, come here, come here. Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. Come here. Alright, alright, so I used to play this game. And it was called Fortnite. And what you do is, you've got weapons, long-range weapons. And you shoot other people with them in order to be the last one standing, right? This genre of game is called Battle Royale, by the way. So in that game, there's got to be a world to traverse in order for players to have a space to kill each other in. And this world takes on a very organic, normal-looking appearance, much like Teyvat itself. It's got all these different areas with places just existing, even though fighting isn't necessarily always happening in them, they exist nonetheless. They're just part of the world. Like the city of Mondstadt, for example. Now, sometimes there are stores of sorts, and they have large amounts of food, for example. Now, what they will usually do in situations like that, where they've got a large amount of food and not that many people are going to be looking at it very closely, they'll make the textures very low resolution, they'll make the models very low polygon, they'll make them easier for the game to handle and easier overall to deal with for the game, and just in general it doesn't really make much sense to put much work into them anyway. Kind of went off on a tangent there, but so these low quality texture models, they're in the world just like everything else. The devs, the developers of the game, they just don't think anyone's going to take a long hard look at them, which is very, very, very reasonable a guess to make. Because I'm sure that you and me right now are... Okay. I'm sure that you and me are definitely in a minority of players when we... Well, I'm in a minority of players when we look at these models and really analyze them and reminisce about another game that such a thing has happened in. So with so few players paying attention to these models, less effort is put into them, leading to low polygon counts, low texture quality, and also it's just easier for the game to load. It's one less thing it has to handle if it's a lower texture or lower polygon count. And so, the lack of quality in these items, no matter how... What's the word I'm thinking of? No matter how mundane or unimportant they are, I look at these items and I have a bit of a laugh because they're so low quality. And I remember match after match, game after game of Fortnite where I would go into a store and just see the lowest quality food that you have ever laid eyes on. And I would just giggle to myself, take a breather, collect a chest, see if there's anything I can get supplies wise from the store. And I would just take a look at the food, have a little bit of downtime. It was great. It was a lot like this actually. Like I'm usually out fighting monsters or completing tasks for people, right? But right now, right here, I'm with all of you guys, and to focus even more on downtime, I'm putting a lot of my attention into these very rarely challenging mentally objects. It reminds me a lot of a Jacob Geller essay that came in the form of a video, which is like, you have cameras, right? It's like that, but it records audio and moving picture. And I believe it was him that talked about the meaningfulness of everyday objects such as these, no matter how low quality a video game may portray them. Okay. Because these things, a word he used a lot in the video was intimate. Like your possessions, things that you use every day. Not much attention gets put on them outside of using them for their actual use, but just because of their frequent use and how long they may have been with you, they hold meaning. And certain games and certain works, like Still Lifes or the mobile game Florence, bring emphasis to that. They bring attention to that. And I tend to agree with a lot of the things Jacob Geller says, so this is going to be nothing new. I really appreciate that, and he was right to bring it up. You know, I was dreading coming in here. I'm glad I did. Oh, hey. Okay. Polygon count on those flyers. Or polygon count, texture quality. Sorry. Lots of words today. Like, you know what I'm talking about when I say texture, right? How some of these objects in front of us, they're a little blurry. And you, you don't know what a fucking polygon is. My mistake. You can see those sharp edges on that can. Instead of it being a perfect circle, it's kinda pointy. But it's close enough to a circle where, on a glance, even upon closer analysis, it looks like a circle until you get a little bit closer. Like, closer still after the analysis. Polygons are basically... That's the name for... Oh, hey, look, it's me. That's the name for... How could I put this? Paper. You could fold paper, and you could fold paper enough times if you have a large enough piece of paper, a long enough strip of paper. Let's use a strip of paper just so we can recreate this shape we have right here in this can, whose contents I still am not familiar with. So you have this piece of paper, and you can fold it as many times as you want to try and achieve a perfect cylinder. But the more times you fold it, it just becomes a little harder to deal with, let's say, for brevity. Each polygon, in this instance, is in the way I mean it, is like a single fold in that paper, and with every polygon, it makes it a little harder for the system, the engine, everything. Makes it a little harder for it to work. It's like giving a person a bunch of intricate tasks, and they have to be done, and they have to be done perfectly right. They are physically incapable of cutting corners. That would exhaust the person. It would take a long time, and the people they're doing the tasks for, it'd keep them waiting, and it'd stress the person out, which might just burn them out entirely, depending on the person. Now, a lower polygon count, that's like giving them less specific instructions for the tasks, allowing them to cut a few corners. Corners that you get to choose, mind you, or you being the person who constructed this shape here, but nonetheless, some corners to cut. And so by giving out these easier tasks, it makes everything a lot more convenient for everybody. And it's a lot less stressful on the person or thing conducting these tasks. I hope I've explained that well. But I come from a culture that laughs at low quality things. If you took a song, a person singing a song, and you degraded the audio... Oh, there's me. And you... Okay. And you degraded the audio quality, I would probably chuckle, as would a lot of people my age in my area. Same thing applies to an image or even a task. There's me. I'm not quite sure what to call this stage in humor, this trend recently, but that's what it is. And so these low quality items, they make me giggle a little bit. Just a chuckle. A little haha. I'm not sure if you could share my experience, especially since, I'm sure to you they look just fine. And I've probably just been talking nonsense to you for, however long this has been. And I bet if you could hear any of this, and you could say something back, you'd probably say something along the lines of, I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? You would probably also tell me that whatever comedic value this interaction has dried up long ago. And to that, I would tell you that it's a little bit like the intimacy of everyday objects, to quote Jacob Geller's essay title. I see you every day. You're usually... Okay, we're yawning. You're usually on my team or in my teapot, or I just don't get to talk to you at all. And when I do, you know, you annoy me. Not actually. Not actually. But it's a little strange, so being candid and just being able to talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about to you. To explain polygons and textures and Jacob Geller video essays and what videos are to you. It's a nice way to slow down and get a lot of my thoughts out there in a way, because I will be clipping this. It's just nice to have a mundane conversation. Not even so interactive as having another person on the receiving end. Just use enough. It's a nice break. Because I talk with people all day. I've got buddies at school, I've got buddies in my little phone from school and from other parts of the fucking world. There's me. I've got buddies in my microphone, in my headphones. And being able to just ramble about whatever the hell I want to talk to you about without having someone challenge me in literally any way. It makes me feel like I used to talk to myself as if I were recording a video essay on my own. A lot. And occasionally I still do. Not on such large scales as I used to. But I used to do that a lot. And in some ways, this is a step up. But in some ways it's a step down. Because you know what they say about Genshin Impact players. But I know I have a somewhat decent social life. I've got nothing to prove. So let's focus on the benefits of this just a little bit. Like I said, it is a nice way to take a break, slow down the pace, not too mentally challenging after a long day, and you know, still need occasional things, so it's nice because of that too. And you know, it's not often I get to see you outside of my teapot or outside of the little bar on the right side of my screen there. So it really is nice to be able to sit down, or in my case, stand up and chat with you. Well, chat at you. Talking about fucking Fortnite. Okay, someone's fucking calling my home phone. But also, despite considering myself to be in possession of a decent social life, I still don't pull any bitches, and I somehow got emotionally attached to you. I got attached to every goddamn character in this game, I'm telling you. But it's nice to sit down with you and talk in particular. It's nice to feel like we're having a normal conversation, except instead of one that's strung along for the plot, or the same thing that gets repeated to me over and over. A set of dialogue options, pretty much. It's nice to talk at you, not through the filter of the text the game offers me. But as me, it's nice. I do feel like a bit of a loser. But that's okay. 'Cause once I'm done here, gonna hop on a PlayStation party with my two bestest buddies who are real and respond to me when I talk and can provide mentally challenging, mentally stimulating conversation. I'm gonna hop on call with them and have myself a nice night. And then I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna converse with people. And they're gonna talk back and I'm gonna do my, oh, there's me. And I'm gonna do my very best to keep the status quo and chat back when they chat at me. Maybe start a few conversations. It does get a little overwhelming sometimes, but that's very rare. And even if it hasn't right now, it's a nice change of pace, like I said. I should probably go look for Jean. It was good chatting at you. I'll see you. If I can get through here. I'm going to fucking jump. Okay. Going this way. Taller. Taller than you. Alright. Have a good one. I miss you already.